Heidi has been playing with Hunkydory's new Land of Enchantment collection, and we just want to share this wonderful grouping with you. Come play with us. You can see I've added some other things that come in this collection, and there is the topper kit. Now this is a Merry Magic. Now that means it's on very shiny, beautifully printed papers. They're very rich colors. And this has got 110 die cuts, 16 mirror cardstocks, and an idea sheet. So that's that. Then there's also, my favorite, the foiled acetate. There are 16 sheets in this collection, and Heidi has used several of them. And then there's also the inserts. And wait till you see what she's done with the inserts. Now, in addition, there is a 4x4 pack, and this again is printed on that Merry finish. There are 12 designs, and you get 4 of each. And then there's also what they call a DL topper panels. They're slightly larger than our slimline, but you can trim these down and it works perfectly. So there are 12 designs. There are 12 sheets. There's 6 designs and you get 2 of each. Got that? Okay, so all of this, but let's get to the pretties, and that's the most important. Now we'll get in closer, you can see. And I think that Heidi just did a wonderful job of working with the insert. Now, do you see that unicorn, Land of Enchantment? That's where we are. And what she has done is she has taken a slimline card, and our slim lines come like this. There are cards and envelopes, and they are 8.5 inches tall and 3.5 inches wide, and that just works really nicely. Now, what she did is she took an insert, and we'll start with that, and this is the insert. Again, it always has a ghosted back image that's duplicating an image out of the topper collection. But look what she did. So she cut right along that edge, and then she fussy cut around the unicorn's head and the horn, and then up at the top. Now she placed that onto a piece of the hammered gold, and as you can see, that was trimmed to fit on top of the slimline card. Just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. But even more beautiful, she added one of the foiled acetate sheets, and look how that pops. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Well, let me show it to you on the finished card, because that's ever so much prettier. And just an excellent use of it. I love the layering. I think it's just brilliant. One thing I wanted to tell you, oh no, I'll tell you that in a minute. Then she also used, this is the 49 and Market flowers, and this is called Ballet Slipper. That's their name for the light pink. And you can see she's just used the smaller pieces of this collection. You can see that coiled piece, some of the buds, and then some of the smaller flowers. And then she also wanted to add just a brighter one. So this is the Pixie Petals, and I think this is also, oh, this is the Flamingo, so it's a deeper pink than the Ballet Slipper. So you can see how that's added right there. And then for her dazzles, this comes out of the Everyday Greetings, and I'll show that to you in a different, because she uses that particular collection in several of the pieces, several of her cards. Now she did use the white ribbons, and I always show you the package because I think it's just fun to see that, yes, this is one that she used, but there's more in there, and I want you to know that because I think it's just a valuable piece. But isn't that pretty? Now the acetate goes across the whole piece of the card, and she put some glue behind the flowers, and just like with the acetate we've talked about before, you don't have to glue every piece of it down. You can just have a strip of glue or some dots of glue, and it will work nicely. Now Heidi has used the glue stick. You might use the extra sticky tape, just whatever your choice is, and that little high right down there. Then on the inside, she chose a second sheet of the inserts, and it's this one. And I wanted to show it to you because it might be hard to tell just from here, and it's a little bit hard to explain, but it is a floral background. Now you see she didn't use the corner areas, she just used the center of it. So that's what she's done. And she went back to her acetate, because the acetate has that that gold foiling on each edge, and she turned it sideways and did a piece right down there, so you can have a lot left, which is lovely. She added another dazzle and another flamingo flower, and I just think it's really lovely. Heidi, you just love it. Okay, so that is our first card. Now I do want to tell you, Heidi has given us a couple of cards that are made differently, which is always fun to see. And the next one, or the first one, is this. We need to back up just a smidge. Now, in this collection, you might have noticed there are no adorable scoreable cardstock. So what Heidi did is she went to our 20-sheet package of the cardstock, the pastel cardstock. Now, when you get it, it's going to look like this, and it says pearlescent, but that's a lie. I have to tell you, we need to cross that out, and that's the reason why it's so inexpensive. You do get 20 sheets. They are double-sided, and you can see that in this case, she has used a teal. Now, let me show you. You're going to start with a piece. I guess we need to back up a little bit more, Steve. And it's going to measure 10 inches by 12 inches. And those cardstocks are 12 by 12, so that works really nicely. Steve is frantically pressing the button that isn't working to try to get the camera to scroll out. Okay, now what you want to do after you've cut that piece is you want to do a couple of more cuts. So what we want to do is to create a piece like this. So what Heidi has done is that she's measured up from the bottom on each side, and then she's cut in and then scored it. Now, it's kind of hard in words to explain that, so what I did is there is a download for you, and that download is in the gallery. Click on this card, then under the instructions, the supply list, it will have download at the bottom of it. So you'll see this. Now, this is an 8.5 by 11, so you can print it out. But this is 10 by 12. So what you'll do, or what I want you to do, is to place this at the bottom of your card. Then you've got the measurements to create this, this shape, okay? So you're going to go up, and you're going to go in. The straight lines are cut. You just want to remember to keep cutting when you get up there, okay? The dotted lines, the broken lines are score lines. And so what you will have when you've gone through all of that is you will have this shape. Okay, go ahead and score on it. And just to give you this, you're going to measure up 2 inches, and that's where you're going to cut this way. And then you measure in 2.5 inches for those score lines if you don't want to mess with the pattern, okay? And then up here, this is the score line right there. And that will fold down, and then it makes this shape. And that's exactly what we have right here. So look at that. That's the mirror. It's very super shiny. It really plays nicely with the lights. And so what this does, it has a two-fold opening. So we open here, and we also open here. So there's a nice surprise right there. Okay, let me show you what she used. Now, to begin with, she used this piece of the mirror, and this is going to go on the front of her card. Now, she is really using that card base, that cardstock, to be a mat all the way around her images, okay? So this gets cut, and again, all of the directions and the measurements are down in the gallery right below this video. So that's what she's done here. Then for these two, she went to the top of this. I'll flip it around, and you can see how that was cut and placed on the bottom of each one. Okay, so that just makes that easy. Now to go into the topper set, this is what she's done. So she has taken, first of all, this one that's right here, foiled and foam taped it. She has taken the Have a Fantastic Birthday, in this case, and glued it and foam taped it right there. Then down here, she's taken There Is Magic Inside of All of Us and May All Your Dreams Come True right there. And she's placed them like so. So that works beautifully. Now for accent, she decided to go to one of our standbys, and these are lime colored paper roses, and so these just get glued on. And then in addition, she went into the Sunset Shimmers embellishments. These are from Buttons Galore, and has placed them there. Now there's little glittery sequins in there in the shape of stars. There are these flat back pearls, and so she's just placed those throughout. Now on the inside of her card, she's used one of the inserts. Now, as I said, the insert will mirror or duplicate the image that's on the front. Now, the image is on the front, or the image that's in the topper pack is this one. This is the insert that would match it, but that's not what she did. She picked another insert, and it is this one. You can see that beautiful fairy sitting in a garden, and she has used that to go inside her card, so you can see what she's done. So there's the fairy flying and the fairy sitting, and so she's cut it right underneath that mushroom that she's sitting on and placed it on the inside. And then again, some of the pieces from this same topper sheet, this one is here, and the other little tag is right here, a yellow ribbon. And then she's taken, are you seeing those stars coming up from the happy birthday? Those are out of the sparklets, so that just works really, really nice. Excuse me, out of the Shimmers. Shimmers and Sparklets are both brands from Buttons Galore. So this is Shimmers, so you can see how nice. And if you just put drops of the Cosmic Shimmer Specialist glue and then place these, that works perfectly. The happy birthday is also in the More Greetings Dazzles, so that just works very nicely. And you'll notice that when this is closed, you don't see any of the greetings other than, well, you see all the ones on the little toppers. But when you open this, you get more, and those really pop. And then you get your message, whether it's happy birthday, thinking of you, get well soon. That's right there, and that just works very, very nicely. So there we go, perfectly done. And we're going to go to the next card, and this is a smaller card. So we'll get in a little bit closer so that you can see. Right, Steve? We're going to get in closer. Now, this is a two-step process to make this. And one thing you'll do is, and I appreciate, and it's really kind of fun with that mirror finish, very shiny. Heidi has gone into the suede, and I thought that was a really excellent choice. So she has taken the suede, and she's going to use this on her 4" by 4" card. So she used our regular 5 by 6.5" cards and just cut it down. If you want to, you can just do a piece of cardstock, 4" by 8", score it in the middle and fold it, whichever way you prefer. Now, she used the same cardstock that we had earlier out of the pastel, and you can see that matting those together just works really nicely. So you've got the measurement here. Now, you go ahead and glue those together, but do not attach them permanently to the card. First, what we're going to do, or just to give you a sneak peek, we are going to die cut this piece. So a good way to do it is to first put on this square and just do it either with the low tack tape or with a repositionable tape, or just attach it on one side. We do that because you're going to run this through your die cutting machine, and you're going to use a Circles cutting die. This happens to be the one that Heidi used, and do that cut. Then you're going to take a piece of the foiled acetate, and this happens to be this one. You can see you get 4 corners of it, and you can see how she's just placed one of them right here. Well, you want to cut that a little bit bigger than the circle, then lift up the matted suede so that you can slip the acetate underneath it, then glue down this piece, okay? what does that accomplish? Well, you've got a nice clean look on the inside of your card, and that just works nicely. So then you've got all of that placed. Then Heidi went back. Now, in the little book, as I said, you get 4 of each one. So you're going to get 4 of this one, 4 of all of them. But you see the corners? Well, that's what Heidi used. I'll close this up to place right in the corners there. So she just trimmed. Now they end up measuring, for those of you who really want a measurement, they end up measuring 3/4 of an inch in and 1 inch down. Okay, so you just trim those. You might cut one and then place it on the next one to cut, place it there. That way they'll all be exactly the same. Just a nice little trick. Now you'll see that that was used on the inside of the card, and a second piece was used to cut those corners. Okay, so you get 4 of them, so that works out nicely. This too is matted on the suede and on the cardstock, so that works nicely. Then for accents, she used the brass jewel dazzles, and you see just 1 in each corner on the front and on the inside. Just works really nicely. The last thing that she did is she wanted to position her greeting. In this case, she used hello, and she wanted to do that after this was all put together. So she didn't place that on the front until all the card was done. Does that make sense? And again, she used the more greetings dazzles. This is what it looks like. And you can see it's just got everything, including the hello. They're in black, white, gold, and silver, so that's really nice. The happy birthday that we saw earlier, that's right here. That was also used. So nice when she uses something repeatedly. Kind of gives you more bang for your buck, and we like that. Okay, I've got one more card for you. And this is another unique card. And here is this one. We'll back up just a smidge. Now this kind of looks like a slimline, but it's actually a little bit wider. And what Heidi did is to go back into our pastel cardstock, and this is what she cut. So can we go a little bit more, Steve? This is 12 inches wide, so that works out well. Thank you. Then 8.5 inches tall. Then what she did is she measured in 4 inches on each side and created a score line, okay? But then in order to get this diagonal line, she measured 1 inch up and then made a dot and then did a line from that dot up to the score line. Did the same thing on both sides, measure up 1 inch, make a dot, and then drew a line and cut on it to give us this shape. Now the card, let me show you, is like this. So this is kind of a peekaboo card, and she attached the ribbon at the bottom, so I'm going to slip it off just to show you this. Now again, she went into the suedes, and this is ocean suede, ocean blue, let me see. It is ocean suede, okay, just ocean. Then she also went into the Iridescence. Now this is a pack that we've had for years, and the sheets are iridescent, as you can see. This is, and they kind of shift colors. You can see that that's going blue, green, and yellow, and that's the sheet that she used. All of these are iridescent, and they all have that shifting quality to them. And I'll just pull them out just so you can get a look at what's going on. Just some really fun looks. And I think it's really just interesting that she chose to do that against the Miri. And I think it's just wonderful. Now, let me tell you how she did this. So she's got her cardstock scored and cut. So you see that shape? Now, you can see on the front of this, in fact, Steve, I'm going to ask you to get in closer. Just play with that remote control. Right along this edge, you can see a piece of the cardstock underneath it. Now, this is kind of a funny shape. So what Heidi did, and let me get my piece back, is she placed her suede on the front, did not glue it down at this point, and then she held it in place, or you could put tacky tape, the low tack tape, and then she cut it. So she's going to cut that shape here, let that be, and then cut down here. So then she's got the shape that will fit on the front. But notice there is a decorative edge right there. So then she just trims 1/8 of an inch off the slanted line. Okay, she did that on the suede. She also did that on the iridescent. So after those are cut, you can glue them down, and then she took a piece of the thin line glitter dazzles. Now these are our thin line dazzles, but they're done in glitter, and so you get a bit of pop of shine. You can, it's delicate, but it packs a punch. Now we also have colorful ones, but these are the glitter ones. So I thought that was a really clever way and an easy way to get that one side just a smidge smaller. Now what she used on the front is, again, from our friends at Buttons Galore. These are, let me see, they're called crystal stars, so you really can see them on the suede and on the iridescent. So again, just drops of the specialist glue, just like that, and then place them, and that will work wonders. And then she also used from Hunkydory, appropriately, this is the blue shimmer gemstones, and so she used those also. Now on the inside of her card, I bet you figured out there's one thing we haven't used, and that's these topper panels. And so she has taken one, and with all the measuring, it's going to fit perfectly on the inside. And then she did the dazzles around the edge. You can see that gold edge. And then she also added the same thing with the gemstones and the crystal stars onto the piece. And then, so that takes care of it. But what about the closure? Well, clever woman. She took a strip of the ribbon, and this comes out of our blue set, as you could imagine, and placed it, folded it in half, and then glued the middle of it. I think I should untie this. So fold it in half and then glue the middle 4 inches to the back of the card. That way, your ribbon is going to always be attached. And if you want to do what Heidi did, is to tie it loose enough that it can slip off, or you can do it firmly, and then your recipient will just need to undo the bow. So that will work nicely. Okay. So there you have it, some very different cards and some wonderful looks with all of this Land of Enchantment from Hunkydory. We absolutely love them, and I love seeing what Heidi's done with all the various pieces of this collection, as well as bringing in some of our favorites. Just really, really fun. Okay, well, that's it. Delighted to see you. Please leave a comment. Love to read what you have to say. You can tell that we're a fan of Hunkydory, and it's just so nice to have those pieces to create wonderful cards with. If you're watching this on YouTube, come on and head on over. There is a money saver on the right side of your screen. Those patterns and all the directions are down below in the gallery, and we'd love to have you join us. And thank you so much for being part of our Paper Wishes family.